with different broadcasters. Okay, I like this one because one of the things I've enjoyed throughout my broadcasting journey across different levels is I just love working with different people. But the first thing that if I'm the most experienced broadcaster on the card, and I can sort of probably help dictate on how it unfolds, is I like to put it in the lap of the new broadcaster that I'm working with, and it can be at any level as well, because I want to know what their strengths are. And I think at the end of the day, I guess my broadcasting, part of my broadcasting philosophy is that you're only as good as the team that you're calling with. So if you can build that rapport and find a few positive things that you can generate with your team, then they're going to be comfortable. You're going to be comfortable. They're going to be calling to the level that they're comfortable with, whether it be on specials or hosting or interviewing or play-by-play or whichever. But it encourages you to be very adaptable and recognize at the end of the day, you're still going to get your time. You're going to get your time on the mic to do the best that you can. And if you've got a hot game in front of you, doesn't matter what sport it is, I think that's wonderful. For probably some of the best experiences that I've had in calling in general has been from those that I've asked the question of, what would you like to do? And they've said, look, I've done a little bit of calling, but I've done a bit of coaching here in this space. And so I've got, well, look, do you feel comfortable doing specials? Because I want you, that's big strength. And I'm a big believer that your specials caller is your best caller on the day. Calling the game, yeah, that's fine. We can all say, Jack kicks to Mark or Sarah passes to Nancy, those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, if you've got a really good specials, then work to those strengths. So that's one of the things I love. One of the awesome experiences I've had to work this year. And she's now she's a premiership player in the AFLW in 2023. Something that I will never forget everywhere I go is that I had the pleasure of working a game with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Oh, that'd be an interesting experience. Taylor Smith, who is now a premiership player with the Brisbane Lions in the AFLW. And I sort of sat with her and during one of the breaks, and I got in during the second quarter because I was coming back from a VFL game, so I was running a little bit late. And I just let her do her thing. And then we went to the halftime break, and I said, look, you've got the expertise, you've got the background, you play AFL football. If you do this, if you say what you think and predict what you think should be happening, then you'll make it, you'll get in your element. And I just dropped a couple of those points in there, and my goodness gracious, and I say this with hand on heart, I was so pumped that she just grew as a caller the longer the game went on. It was spectacular. I can't remember much about the game, to be fair, but that was an awesome experience working with Tay and just watching her grow as time went on. And then a big shout out to the main man, Jack Barry. Now, if you ever head up to Queensland, I know I've had a little bit of AFL experience, but Jack Barry is one of the most awesome people that you will ever meet in any sport. That's a given. And I had the pleasure of working on AFL Queensland QAFL Grand Final Day with Jack and Riley Guest in the essentially was the Colts and the reserves, which is a big reason for this podcast, to be fair. And I make that well known too, is Jack sort of spoke about, there's not many platforms out there that we can learn and grow as callers. So I'm like, well, okay, let's I'll get a podcast going. And I know Jack listens. So, and the words that I say are sincere, but we at the end of every quarter, even with he and Riley, we just broke it down. We interchanged roles from the different games. We changed up the dynamic. So I got Riley doing, I got him doing hosting / color, and then I mixed it up a little bit with Jack being on calling duties, and I just dropped some sort of casual tips in there, and to see that development happen is awesome, because it's super important to have a leader in there in that team, and it's super important to be very flexible and very adaptable. That's park your ego at the door. You're gonna get your time. on the mic, and you're quite often the ones that just be the best that they can and keep their ego at the door, the ones that stand out and do the most, because they're producing quality. So make sure when you do get that time, even if you're working with someone that might be taking a little bit more, just make your time count and make it sound like absolute gold, because let's be honest, you've got the talent. It's just about being flexible and adaptable. And that goes back to the first question about some of the challenges. You just got to roll with it and don't let anything stop you, whether it's a technical issue or you might be working with someone that you don't quite gel. And that's the reality. You can't really gel with everyone. Some of the, when I was making my way through umpiring, is that I just loved working with people that I hadn't worked with before, but I also loved working with guys and girls that just wanted to take a little bit of leadership on the ground, because they've set the bar. And as a competitor, whether it be, in any aspect of sport, you want to rise to that bar. So think of it that way. If you've got someone that is going to be a leader, the other team around you are going to be pushing up to that.